All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here, of course, for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 3, Episode 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it looks like we have
an armored guy.
Yeah, it looks like we have an outstanding fight on our hands. Yes.
Yes.
They will stand toe-to-toe and have a showdown or a stand down,
something like that. Yeah.
Hey, when they're telling the fight to stop, stand
down.
They tell them to stand down. Yeah.
When the fight's on, they say stand up and fight.
Haha. Yeah. Well, fight. Or stand proud and fight.
Okay, come on, Caleb. Let's be completely ridiculous.
Yeah, let's get into this. So we have the armor guy with the sword stand and all that.
I'm very excited
kind of
to see
medieval
that
style.
Yeah.
And then we have Avdol, who's basically challenged him.
Napalm mage.
Yes, the Egyptian napalm mage. Going to have some kind of a... I'm
Standoff?
guessing kind of a... No. Kind of a, obligatory shonen fight before he joins the bro squad, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like the idea of
I'll show you mine
having...
if you show me yours kind of a thing.
Yeah. I like the idea of having a group of 5. There's something about having an odd number in a squad that keeps the dynamics and interactions quite interesting. Right. And in particular, I think they're missing something shiny in their group.
Well, yes. I mean, you always need to have armor in any story.
Right. And Joseph kind of has armor in his replacement. Yes. Shout out to your book cover there. But Joseph does have... his metal arm,
right? Which is
pretty
helpful.
Cool, and it's kind of like armor.
Yeah.
But in this case, I think this guy and his design and his stand, they do pretty well in the JoBros squad.
Oh yes, I'm very excited to see the 5 of them all together.
All right, but first we have to get into a fight. So without further ado, let's see how this fight goes down.
Polnareff.
Jean-Pierre. I love it. Merci beaucoup, yes. Magician's Red. Dun, dun. Free control. He is a man of culture, indeed.
Yes.
It is honor. Oh! That's legit!
They weren't even lined up, but he still somehow did it. Wow. Okay.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Alright. The Chariot Tarot card. Gotcha.
So is he basically Broskandar? I want to fight you at your full strength.
Alright, here we go. I gotta love a JoJo opening.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the poses.
Point.
Yep.
I love how they just use color in just the craziest of ways.
Yeah.
Like they just do not care. They're like, we are awesome.
Yeah, that, yeah.
Yep.
Combined with,
I love this because see the thing is it's not just that all the character designs are awesome, but there's essentially
that's so epic.
10 of them.
Yeah, right.
There's the 5 of them in their stands.
Yep. Wait, here we go.
I love the sound effects.
That was a great sound, yes. question is, will this be determining if Avdol can keep him at range, or...
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or will it be a speed contest? Yep.
Jeez. Awesome.
How dare you? Yep. This is the part where they should stand back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a torrent of fire in a spiral. Enough in this case.
Or maybe it's something where he's just the perfect counter for, Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, okay, doesn't look like it.
Don't get cocky, though. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Oh, that line!
Wow.
Oh, shoot!
Wow. Okay.
Wow! One-liners. Right. I think he's gonna be okay. Yeah. He's releasing his armor. What's going on?
Inconceivable.
I like this music. Alright, he's cool.
He's like, I really want to explain this to you.
He's been honorable thus far.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Blow your socks off. Oh my god. What?
Yes, absolutely.
Is it just moving that fast?
Yeah, they're just moving. Awesome. I love it.
Oh,
and 7.
Yeah.
Perfect number.
Oh my god! I love this.
The hilarious thing is that if it was actually fast enough to create after images that he couldn't tell the difference between, it could just, you know, kill him instantly. Oh, and now the colors are different. Awesome. Love it.
Well, it's JoJo's, yeah.
Well, yeah. Because if it's that fast, where you can't tell between them, you might as well not be attacking anyway.
Ooh. What's that?
10 years for personal reasons.
騎士道精神とやらで手の内を明かしてからの攻撃実は私のクロスファイヤーハリケーンにはバリエーションがあるアンクの形の炎が1体だけではない分裂させ数体で飛ばすことが可能クロスファイヤーハリケーンシェルかわせるかウナランアブデル
I love how he repeats himself. Yeah. It's great. Whoa. Yeah.
激みの炎はトンネルを掘るためだったのだ。そしてそこからクロスファイヤーハリケーンを言ったろう。私の炎は分裂。何体にも分かれて飛ばせると。
Sneak attack.
炎に焼かれて死ぬのは苦しかろう。その探検で自滅する。
Avdol, What a badass. Holy crap.
Wow.
Jeez.
I mean, technically, he didn't actually, like, defeat your stand.
Yeah, he was giving him the opportunity. Whoa. So he wasn't being controlled by Dio. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was. God, I love Joseph.
Now that the
oh
flesh
my
bud is
god.
gone, we can be buddies. Wow. I wish to come with you.
Yes.
だったら私でなくジョジョに言え。いらないな。その左腕は右腕ではないだろうな。左腕が右腕？確かに奇妙な質問じゃ。一体どういうことかな？妹を殺した男を探している。
Oh, oh.
もう3年になる。
Trained for 10 years for personal reasons.
Oh my gosh, and Inigo did too.
Is Princess Bride a JoJo's reference?
No, it came out. It came out before. It was in like the 80s.
Oh, okay.
故郷フランスの田舎道だ。クラスメートの胸がかまいたちにでも避けた。
Oh, that's horrible.
妹が恥ずかしめを受け殺された。男の目的はただそれだけだった。九死に一生。命を取り留めたその友人の証言だ。俺がそれまで誰にも隠していた能力と同じもの。
Right.
その
Sure.
男は
Which
持
is
ってい
what
ると思っ
sliced.
たからだ。
Yeah.
明らかにスタンド能力
Of course, yeah.
俺は誓った。我が妹
That pose!
尊厳と安らぎは
Nani?
こいつの死でもって償わなければ取り戻せん。
Whoa.
水晶に像が映っているのはビジョンだ。私のではない。今の水晶の像が君の苦しみなんだ。力を貸そうじゃないか。私にも苦しみがあって日光の元に出られない体なのだ。そうして君らを殺してこいと命令された。俺はあんたたちと共にエジプトに行くことに決めたぜ。
Okay.
ディオを目指していけば
Okay.
妹の仇に出会える。
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
どうします？
I mean, I saw this coming,
私に依存はありません。
but he said he wasn't the forceful type.
どうせ断ってもついてくるじゃろうし。
Liar. Oh my gosh, of course.
お願いします。海を背にしたいです。
やかましい。他のやつに。
Oh my gosh.
もう一枚いくよ。
He's taking the rock.
シャッターボタンのように人のハートも押して押しまくりたいな。
Yes, that is right, Joseph. Yada yada. Yes. All right, we've been introduced to Jean-Pierre Polnareff.
Polnareff.
Pol-
Yes.
Polnareff.
Polnareff.
Yeah. It's either
One of
Polnareff or
those two.
Polnareff.
But Jean-Pierre, that's
Jean-Pierre, that's the important part.
That's the easy part to remember.
Yes. If anything, it's a really funny, like almost like overtly Catholic kind of name, you know, with the
Yes.
combination of John Peter. Yes.
Right. Well, and the
he's
whole-
the
yeah.
like gentleman, but then he's also
Yeah.
like the the
He's-
pervy guy.
He's the Frenchman that's the flirt. Yeah.
That's how. Yes, the French flirtman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But his character has surprisingly a lot of depth to
Yeah.
him.
Like they
Like a lot of little contradictions here and there.
I think they gave him more like reasoning as to why he does what he does than they have
like,
really to
Kakyoin.
or Avdol. Like Avdol got some good backstory and stuff, and Kakyoin did too, you know. But
Not as much.
But not as much.
No.
So,
no, not
you know.
really. If anything, Polnareff seems like the kind of character who, like like almost has to die because think about it this way. Think about it this way. He has this really cool arc that they're setting up for him.
I know.
And Dio is like going to be the kind of person that fights, like Jotaro. Like
right.
And
yeah.
And if I had to choose like the subordinate of them that gets just punked by Dio, it would be really sad to watch Polnareff.
Right, because
Jean-Pierre died.
Yeah, Jean-Pierre. Yeah, because I feel like Jean-Pierre is the type of character where he'll be one of the ones that we care about. Like, he's not going to be the character that we care the least about of the 5, right?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. I think he'll probably
we're
actually
surprisingly care a lot about it.
Yes, I think he'll be like right there after Jotaro and Joseph.
And Joseph, yeah.
So that will make his death, if he does die, that much worse.
Sure, but one of the things I'm excited about is them all going on this misadventure, of sorts, as the JoBros squad.
JoBros, yes, that's right.
and if anything, having him in the dynamic, having that similarity of honorable, kind of chivalrous nature, like Avdol, but also the flirt aspect, like Kakyoin, and then also a little bit of the kind of the complexity and character depth of, the Joestars.
Right.
I mean, technically, Jotaro isn't going by his Joestar name because,
But it's Jotaro Kujo.
So... Well, yeah, because it was Joseph's daughter. So
right,
technically he's not a Joestar, literally.
I mean,
sense.
I mean, he kind of is.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned, he's a JoJo.
Yeah, he's definitely a JoJo and a Joestar and all that.
But but this fight in particular shows us what kind of stand of the week, probably style of thing they'll be doing for the future.
Sure. I love how they watching this whole fight. It felt like a trip down memory lane to all those times when it was, and usually done badly, but not in this case where it's the, you have this power, but I have my ultimate technique. Fight me at your full strength. I will.
Yes.
Because I want to beat you at your full strength. And then, this is my ultimate technique.
Would you mind
useless
if I
against
explain
me.
it to you?
Yeah. Oh, and the way they focused on that of like, is it all right if I explain it to you? Because I want to make sure I explain this technique to you. Yes, that is the honorable thing to do. Cheerio, good chops, yes. Go ahead. So this is how it works. Yeah, all right, let's go. But you see, I planned around your plan. I went up to your technique because I was able to do this thing. And now that we have fought each other, we can become totes besties.
Totes besties, exactly. With Avdol's character in particular, I like his role in this as being the sage. Like, he's the one that has trained his stand.
He's the responsible one of the group because Joseph doesn't exactly fulfill that role.
Absolutely. And Kakyoin is probably, a little bit nervous of taking any big steps because just, recently he was trying to kill them all.
Right.
So, or at the very least kill Jotaro. So I like how each character gets their time in the spotlight, but I like how Avdol fits into, like, his character makes sense to fit into kind of the shonen tropes that we just kind of were poking a little bit of fun of because we're used to them by now. But this new character, Jean-Pierre, he has his own spin on it.
Yes.
And in a way, I like how his character really does seem to be a blend of all of the other 4.
It really helps him stand out, is what you're saying?
Yes, but I just wanted to bring up, like, his character feels like the most unique out of all of them.
Yep.
I mean, even Jotaro a little bit. Like Joseph. We've had more time with Joseph, so it's a little bit unfair to compare the two of them. But the thing with Joseph is that he's almost comic relief now. Like, he is kind of the Speedwagon, whoa, what's he doing? Kind of thing. I love that.
They had him do a dad pun.
He did a really bad dad pun. It was it was pretty good. If anything, I have a sort of endearment when it comes to puns.
Oh yeah.
And because I'm watching it in a show that I love, it just makes it automatically amazing.
But
if my dad gave that pun, I would just be like exactly like JoJo, just yada,
But the thing is, that reaction, that response is exactly what makes the pun so worth it. If you don't get that kind of response, it's something's missing.
Right.
Something's missing.
Something's definitely
the fact
missing
that they
in that
had
regard.
that in there was just gold.
Definitely.
I loved it.
With the fight in particular, I liked that the stands themselves were the primary combatants. One of the things that and I think you brought up in particular is, is if he's that fast with his sword, why doesn't he just go and immediately kill Avdol? One, I think part of this kind of gentleman's duel is that Jean-Pierre was trying to prove to Avdol that his stand was stronger.
Right. And
so therefore he fought against his stand.
And in a way he did, because in order for Avdol to beat him, he had to basically say, I'm not going to fight your stand, I'm going to attack you.
Yes. And that is the difference of the fight. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was it could be proved that Jean-Pierre was putting himself at a disadvantage because of his conceit, his ego, in wanting to prove that his stand was stronger. I think probably because Avdol kind of brazenly challenged him as saying, like, I will take you on by myself. And I think
his challenge, it wasn't so much brazen as it was more like a brazier.
Okay, but I'm serious. I think that Jean-Pierre was offended that all of them didn't take him on at once.
Oh.
So he was basically saying, you don't stand a chance against my stand.
Right.
So I'm going to defeat your stand. Therefore, Avdol got off a little bit easy, maybe.
I think so. Because, and granted, okay, it's one of those things where it's like, this is JoJo's, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
So you're not supposed to look too closely at the realism of the things they do, because a lot of it is the rule of cool, right?
Right.
The whole thing with the after images and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, how much do we take it as the rule of cool versus reading into it?
Yeah, I think that there's a blend that we can find some wiggle room in the middle of. And if anything, I think that Jean-Pierre's character coming in with the mind control, but still having the honor, chivalry, and conceit rolled into one is an intelligent combo. I feel like that was...
Yeah, it's another contradiction.
It's just another contradiction.
Yeah.
You saw so much of his personality despite him being
a puppet.
Right. Which is something
yeah.
that I think that Kakyoin
also had,
but he seemed to be more restrained.
Right. And
so
I think
I don't know what the difference is there.
Yeah, and
maybe it's just that the insert thing, the little bud, doesn't really
doesn't like directly control them and turn them into like a zombie, which is cool because like it helps add to the rule of cool, I guess, of Jean-Pierre, because the idea is that even though he was being controlled, he was still himself.
Oh, right. And I was saying that like there's a possibility that it does nothing to diminish their personality. This isn't like typical brainwashing where their motor their higher functions are lessened in some way.
Yeah, it's not that he's being manipulated like physically to control him. It's more of that he has this, he just believes I must kill this person,
Sure. If anything, it gives them the goal, but they use every means at their disposal.
Right.
As they personality, power, stand, all that.
Right.
To accomplish said goal.
Yeah.
With him being added to the group, I don't think we're adding any more people to the group.
Because
but there was
they probably would have been in the opening.
Right. But there was something that you mentioned in a previous bit, because you were talking about the 5 stars in the opening.
Oh, yeah.
And then
there
that
was
one other star like way off to the side.
Yes.
So do you think we're getting like a 6th person at some point?
Maybe. I'm not sure. That could be Dio. That could be a new character that they introduce, and maybe JoJo's has actually learned to not have like everything in the opening be spoilery.
That's a good point.
Keeping it a
because
secret.
I feel like I've now watched Stand Proud, the opening, enough to where I can go, okay, I see some small things here and there, but unlike with Battle Tendency, which had some very cleverly hidden right on the surface spoilers, and then we somehow didn't catch.
Yeah,
I'm almost feeling a little bit worried about analyzing the Stand Proud opening.
Okay.
But I feel like that's the thing that like you caught on to something there, but also all the previous Joe stars being in the opening.
Right,
might mean something.
there's that too, yeah.
Because one of the things that keeps getting brought up is Dio and his stand has a connection to the Joe stars.
Right.
And we saw him like literally in this moment using Joseph's stand.
Right. And
like
we also got a confirmation on what we were wondering of, can Dio be out in the daylight? And he can't.
He cannot.
So that's good to know.
So he's not moving.
Right.
Like,
yeah, and
if he is in Egypt, how is he going to move in the desert?
Yeah, he doesn't have very many hours of mobility, let's just say.
And you'd have to be careful if he did any kind of like fast transportation, because it would have to be done still at night.
Right.
And then he would have to find
Or he'd have
a
to like
place.
just cover himself completely.
I think that works. That might work.
But still, it'd probably be kind of risky.
It'd be really cumbersome.
Yeah.
Also, in particular, he probably has, the other problem of just like, the randomness of having the sun being this big thing up there, and just every once in a while, a reflection, ping, zzz, and he just burns out like half of his brain.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like he has to be very careful.
Yeah. Ski mask and everything.
I like the idea that Dio's stand, or whatever kind of combination stand thing he has, is because of him taking Jonathan's body.
Right. Yeah, because they also said that their stands are tied. The reason they have stands is because of Dio's reemergence.
Yes, but I also don't think that that's really fully it.
Yeah, because
other
stands
people
are a
have
thing.
stands.
Yeah, other people have stands, so it's like, how much is that really tied to him? Yeah.
Right. If anything, it helped awaken their dormant stand.
Sure.
Because
there we go.
someone passed this on to me, one of the mods, saying that the reason why Joseph's stand is the way it is kind of tied to the way he seemed to be able to predict everything that his opponents did in Battle Tendency.
Oh, okay.
And he would do your next line, and is basically him pseudo tapping into his stand as like a latent power.
Okay.
Because his stand is basically some level of clairvoyance and precognition. It's not really future seeing, but it's seeing beyond space-time limitations in a way.
Right. Yeah.
It's a little bit complicated in that regard.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
But I like the idea that stands have always been a thing.
Yes.
But Dio's mucking around with Jonathan's body has awoken it specifically for the Joestar lineage.
Right. Awaken my stands.
Yes, exactly. But do you have any thoughts on like what Dio's stand is?
I don't know. I think, originally I was thinking there would be something where it was like the combination of all the Joestar stands.
Sure.
And I think one of the mods passed along that it's like, that was actually something that Araki was considering doing, but then he was of having Dio's stand to be just all of their stands, but then he was like, no, I'm not doing that.
I missed that. So wait, it's not that, or
not that.
Did they just did the writer make a mistake or something?
Well, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what it was, but they were basically saying the bit of Joseph's stand and Dio using Joseph's stand. I'm not entirely sure about this, but it seemed to be that they were saying that might not be explained, or that might basically be like a random thing that happened that isn't like followed up on.
Sure. Or maybe it's him just tapping into whatever Jonathan's stand was.
Sure.
Now they did say, this is a clever bit of world building, they snuck in there. Someone cannot have multiple stands.
Right. Yes.
So maybe what it is there was some inconsistency with the idea of Dio having multiple stands.
Sure. Yeah, and they're like,
or him having some super evolved stand that was like multiple combination things.
And they're like, no, let's get that out of the way right now.
Let's get that out of the way.
That was actually one of the things that was really cool about how they did this episode. And they were able to do it without it being like exposition-y, because they came out and said, mind if I exposit for a bit?
Oh, yeah.
They gave us a lot of rules about stands.
Yes,
how they work. Like limitations and things like that. Like the fact that Avdol was able to burn himself with his stand. Things like that. That was that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Like we haven't really gotten much stuff like that before.
Right. I think that stands will end up having some clever rules over time.
Right.
But because this show is such a big show in general,
It
they
probably
could
won't be happening.
Well, they don't have to front load it.
Exactly.
And that's maybe,
especially since they have this whole rule of cool thing going on. We don't need to know how they work or anything. You can just do stuff and have it be awesome.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things in particular that I think is going to happen just in general is if you have this, band of 5 going around, heading to Egypt, that's going to take time if they're not going to take planes or if they're not going to take, any kind of serious transportation from China because they're in Hong Kong right now.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, they better take a boat. Like,
or
I mean, wasn't that their plan initially?
Right. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, like, they should really figure out how to, like, get, like, a personal plane, like a little 6-passenger, right?
Contact the Speedwagon Foundation.
Exactly.
And be like, we want an off-the-grid plane, no passengers other than us. Heck, like, Joseph needs to come over here and take some pilot lessons for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Who cares? They stick around and then they jump into the plane and fly there.
He did it 50 years ago. It's all up there somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. Planes are all the same. I mean, this is like pretty much.
I mean, it's
like
not
the
like I
time
crashed the plane every time I ever got in it, but
Sure, Joseph's kind of cursed in that regard.
Big deal.
A little bit of bad luck.
Yeah.
In particular, are you kind of excited about the show's format being kind of shifted? Or at the very least, are you a little bit like, how, on what scale are you excited versus are you a little bit like skeptical versus?
Well, I'm curious how they're going to do it because now that they have all the people that there were in the opening,
they don't. You could have another format change.
You could have another format change because the whole thing of the stand of the week totally makes sense, right? I totally get it. They're introducing this whole new system, but now that all the characters are here, they don't need to do a stand of the week because the character introductions have been done.
Oh, I still think it's going to be a stand of the week.
It probably will. But
they just don't have to add them to the group anymore.
Right. They don't have to add them to the group anymore. They could have it be something that takes like carries over into different episodes. They could have they could have actual
little mini arcs.
Little mini arcs like rival stand users that like they fight but then escape.
Yeah, Jean-Pierre is an example of that because his antagonist, his personal antagonist,
is Dio.
Probably not Dio.
Yeah.
They're not going to pull some twist of Dio used his vampire powers to move his thumb, Nani?
They'll never figure it out. It'll just throw them off for years. Drive them crazy.
That would be hilarious, though. Find out that it was like one of the pillar men or something, and he just happened to be like shifting his thumbs around, because they have perfect like body manipulation. Anyway. But in particular, though, that makes me think: did JoJo's rip off Princess Bride in that?
I don't
kind
think
of
so.
Finger kind of thing on the right hand,
because
specifically
the movie for the Princess Bride, I believe, came out in like '85 or like the late '80s or something like that. But the book came out even before that.
Yep.
So if anything, JoJo's is probably referencing the Princess Bride, which I am all for. Because
I'm all for that.
If there was anything for JoJo's to reference, it would be the Princess Bride.
Princess Bride is a classic.
Oh yeah.
In particular, I really love kind of the simplicity of a good revenge story. Yeah. But I like it when it's not the focus of the main character. In particular, with JoJo's, like what it is right now. Jotaro kind of already has some kind of a vengeance thing because of Dio's manipulation
and the fact that
hurting
his mom's
Holly. Yes. Yeah. Yep. That aspect of it isn't really a revenge thing. It's more of an avenge type of thing. Like,
well, yeah, it's something
the same.
Different.
It's the same thing in a lot of ways.
But Holly's not dead yet.
Right. Yeah. If anything, it's more of a war. Dio has declared war on the Joestars.
Exactly. On the family.
And Jotaro has kind of inherited this war.
Right.
And it feels like, to him, I feel kind of bad because, he had Joseph show up and kind of bludgeon his way into his life. And he was already dealing with his stand being like, annoying and causing problems and stuff.
Right.
So Jotaro is kind of a delinquent in a lot of ways, but also he hasn't had a lot of good luck recently. Like just saying,
that's
like,
true. That's
you know,
true.
these things happening to his mom, these things happening to him being kind of forced onto this misadventure bit. He's 17. Like,
okay.
I'm not trying to say like we need to feel bad for him, but
the whole
like,
concept of ages don't really like work well for the JoJo's because.
Hey, I'm just saying, Jotaro, you keep it cool, dude. You keep it cool, cause
and sometimes less is more with the whole like like the delinquent attitude and all that stuff. So just so you know, sometimes the way to be cool is to not try to be cool.
Right. We just need a little bit of edge. You don't need to be like a freaking katana and just like cut through everything. Like, all right, guys. Well, this is a fun episode. Not really as much to discuss, but we have our new character in Pierre Polnareff.
Yes.
One of those two. And if you want to see the next episode reaction, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access, also come to Discord access where you can watch full-length reactions and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll see you there. But until then, for Semblance of Sanity, I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.